Emanite Radio, this is the Bliss with the Duke, still here and commemorating the day that was, and that was Freedom Day, which was honored on the 27th of April. However, we are still allowed, especially that it's a holiday today and it's a Monday, the 28th of April. And we're still looking at the day, looking at the likes of Thabo Mbeki, the former president, looking at the likes of the late statesman, and that is Baba Nelson Rolihlahla Mandela. And we also looked at Mama Winnie, what is Freedom Day without her, and such rich history. Talking about Mama Winnie, tonight we have a woman who is also a fighter in her own field, and that is in the kitchen. If she fights in the kitchen, she's got all the things that you need for a fight, and those are knives. Tonight, I bring you uMakombi Ausbuntle. Sawubona.
Sawubona unjani Duke?
Ngiyaphila unjani?
Ngiyaphila but.
I've just said that you fight in the kitchen. And
Bra.
So maybe you should briefly tell us. So what do you do in the kitchen?
So Ubuntle is she's a caterer. Mm-hmm. She's a chef, qualified chef.
Oh, okay.
And yeah, so Mautinya Lokishini, I literally am fighting
with the vegetables.
No. So no. So the kitchen is one place, Lapo. Yeah. It goes down, hey, so that isn't those pumezi righty. So yeah, there'll be a lot of clash, but at the end of the day, we get the job done. Yeah, so
you're a caterer.
Hey,
you're a caterer.
Yes, I'm a caterer. Also, I own a business called Edamame Catering, which I opened in 2015.
Oh.
Yeah, so I left corporate, and then I pursued business.
At what point did you think that you can actually make a living and thrive while you're doing what you love, and that is being in the kitchen? You just said that you left corporate in 2015 and decided to open your own thing. At what point did you think that actually I can make a living of this and I can actually do my own thing? The strength to live corporate, it's not easy.
Yeah, it's not easy at all. So when I left corporate, I was at my brink where everything was going well, everything was fine, but then I had to be a stay-at-home mom for other reasons. I then left corporate. Then after a few months of staying at home, knowing me ukuthi angikhona ukuhlala still, I then registered to do this business, and then that's when I then started targeting corporate companies, and there it was. Edamame was doing amazing. That's where I was like, okay, so I can do this.
Okay. Yeah. So you don't just wake up, obviously, and decide to open a company, a catering. You obviously have to have the love for the kitchen. When did you realize that you have the love for the kitchen? And how did you know that we are going to pay? Because it's one thing loving being in the kitchen, and it's another actually giving the best product out.
Actually, it's a very interesting story. Like any other chef, there's always a background story with each and every person. So, I was brought up by my great-grand.
Okay.
And that woman is the woman that taught me everything that I know in the kitchen. That is why even when I opened up my business, I was like, you know what? I owe everything that I have now to my great-grand. So the first thing we want teacher it was making pap.
Okay.
At the age of 9, I think. And so I started with paps. Then she introduced me to, ama stews and curries, how to develop your flavors, how to, let the ingredient just speak for itself in a plate. Don't try and overplay it. Just let things just be. So that's where I fell in love with food. Even my whole family, my aunts, my grandmothers loved cooking. So we were always surrounded by food. Even Sundays, we would all sit around the table and lay the table there, and the food would be there, and everyone just eats together. So that's how I grew up.
You obviously would have had a great relationship with your great grandmother at the time. Just briefly, maybe tell us as to how was the relationship? What did you love and appreciate about her that made you spend so much time with her in the kitchen?
So, firstly, my great grand was very strict.
Mm, okay.
Yabona le ndaba lezi zestrati,
Yeah.
she just didn't understand. As a girl, why would you be in the streets
Mm.
when you are supposed to be cooking? So we were very close. We were very, very close. She taught us how to go to church, how to
Mm,
pray. So, and it was mostly about just sitting together, singing together.
mm,
It must look sipe kalapayana. Then she starts a song, and then we sing together. You know,
mm,
it,
mm.
we had that special relationship. Yeah, it was very. We were. She was very special to me.
And where did you grow up?
Katlehong,
Oh,
K1,
Esprit. I'm also from Esprit.
Eastern girl.
I'm from Etwala section, A12.
Really?
Yes, born and
Yaman.
bred.
Katlehong people. They're doing well. That's good.
So obviously, as a woman, starting a business is one thing, but actually, I know women actually faced many challenges in businesses, and
Mm,
one of them is being undermined by males. Though catering is a female dominated industry, but males will overstep at times. What would you
mm.
say were your challenges, Mauqala le business?
So it's not an easy business, first of all, ne?
Mm,
Because you deal with a lot of characters.
mm,
Some will want to see you succeed, and some will try and break you down.
mm,
But also, it also goes ngokuthi, how strong are you ngokwakho as a person. And second of all, you need to understand that you will not just get rich very quickly.
hmm,
So it takes a lot of sacrifice, it takes a lot of time, it takes a lot of um, so you need to be prepared mentally,
mm,
physically, because it will take a lot out of you. The hours that you spend preparing the dishes, that takes a lot of sacrifice
mm.
also. And third of all, um, I think when you need to have a mentality, or know that at some point you will fail, right?
Mm.
It's not one business that you go in and you, boom, you are
Get right.
perfect in everything. You will fail, but then at times you need to then get up, then restart again and perfect where you failed, and just make sure that you believe in what you're doing. And those people that have been hating on you eventually become believers.
Mm.
You win them over. So, not really the money side of things,
Mhm.
but it's mostly the challenges that one needs to face as a person.
You spoke about different characters that you have to deal with, and I'm
Mm,
thinking, was there ever a time where you would prepare food for a client and they were not
mm.
happy about it? And if so, how did you deal with that situation?
So, um, so in a professional kitchen, obviously you would have to then take the food back and redo the plate, and then offer something else to the client.
Mhm.
But then when you are dealing with catering, the nice thing is that you sit down with the client first.
Mm.
You run through the ideas so they build up their own flavors, and then you just bring the vision to light.
Mm.
So it would be more of, if then the client wants to taste the food beforehand,
Mhm.
then you do that. But then magbagu guti, then on the day you've just served the food, and maybe they don't like a certain thing,
Mm.
then it's one of those, it's a hit or miss.
Mm.
But on the day, when you have catered, there's not much that you can do, but Magogoti, you can. Then you will come up with something quickly and replace whatever it is that they don't like.
Hmm.
But Magboguti, it's something that you've planned before, and they don't like. So it's a trial and error thing mostly.
All
Mostly,
right.
yeah.
Have you ever had to deal with clients that you've catered for, and obviously I assume they would have paid 50%, and then say catering where say pay and they don't pay the remainder?
I fortunately, fortunately, I haven't had
How do you
that
do it?
experience.
Or do you make them pay before?
So with me, so when I do my quotes,
Mhm.
at the bottom, there's a part where it says they need to pay like 60%
Mm,
upfront before I can do the job.
mm,
That's the deposit for me to carry out the job, and then the rest of the money will then be paid after the function. Which will be like 24 hours or on the day of the function when I
mm.
leave. Yeah, so I've never experienced where I've never been paid. My God,
Eh,
no,
then,
I've never.
then your food must be so nice, man. It goes straight to
I
the
I
heart.
no, no, no. If there's one thing that I can like pat myself at the back with, is that no, I know my way around the kitchen,
Mm,
and yeah, mabatu yaziqhenya ngokudla kwakho.
mm.
No, I do. Yeah, because I would never serve a person what I wouldn't eat myself.
You speak
Yeah.
about the bottom of your coat. Administratively, how do you go about in terms of administration, in terms of contacting my clients and all that? Do you do all that yourself, or do you have people that are assisting you in doing the administration of the business?
So it's always important to Maukala,
Mm,
to know that you're to have like a mindset you're funda
mm,
or be taught.
mm,
There's no way that you can run this business and you think you know it all.
mm,
There's people who specialize in social media. There's people who do branding, marketing, all these things. And mina, for me, mina ngokwami, mina, I all I know is my kitchen, right?
mm-hmm,
But there are people who truly helped me in building the logo, um and all these little things that I don't even think about, because first of all, mina ngiyazazi I'm bad at social media.
mm.
So I would do a dish, and then only later then my friends would be like, but then did you take pictures? I'm like, oh well, you see, then you learn as you go along that you need to have a PR person, a photographer, someone who will,
Mm, mm.
so those people are very important in making sure that you build your business properly.
Okay, so when you are a chef,
Mm,
obviously you're a qualified chef. When
mm,
they teach you culinary, do they
yes.
teach you the basics of upega, or and trying different dishes,
Mm.
and if so, how do you then improve from that without going back to the school? Do you just try things out based on what you've been taught? Foundational phase yakhona, how does it go about? So my question would be, what keeps you relevant in a space where there's so many chefs? What keeps you relevant?
Um, so trying to keep up with the trends
Mm-hmm.
that are being offered out there.
Mm-hmm.
Also, like attending my workshops,
Mm.
um, and trying to improve on what you already know. So with culinary school, they will teach you, isn't it, about knife skills, the different cuisines, and then you must just find your footing on which cuisine gels better with you, and then try and perfect it, right?
Mm-hmm.
Um, but also just trying to push yourself and being better and being good at it. So ungaba ne-mentality yokuthi you know it all.
Mm.
Because you'll blunder there. Yabona?
Mm.
So as much as one can cook, one needs to also have a good level of understanding of the types of food that they need to produce.
You've obviously, I would say this is the 10th year because you started in 2015.
Mm.
Where do you then see your business in 10 years' time?
Ooh, my God.
Okay.
God willing.
Mm-hmm.
I've always wanted to open up a restaurant. And oh, one day, one day I will open up that restaurant,
Mm-hmm.
and the restaurant will have the love that I had from Nsasemngani
Hmm.
to then. I believe in I believe in transporting people
Hmm.
via food. So
Okay.
so let's say ekhaya kini they used to do a certain dish, and then you come into Buntle's restaurant and then you order a certain dish. Well, though it might be called differently on the menu,
Mm-hmm.
but then when you eat it, then you're transported back home.
Hmm.
I love such experiences. I love it when people just eat and they're like, yo, wankumbuze kaya. Oh,
Wow.
my mom used to cook this for me. I love such experiences. So yes, like 10 years time, can I please have that restaurant
In Jesus'
where,
name.
yeah, where people are just in love with, you feel wholesome. You just
Mm.
feel whole when you are in that space. That's what I want to capture.
Wow, man. Having spoken
Mm.
about taking people back home, um,
Mm.
what do you cater for? So, what type of events do you cater for? You did mention corporate, but do you take
Mm.
like weddings, funerals, and all that?
So yes, it's mostly corporate,
Mm-hmm.
but I also do anniversaries. I do private chefing.
Mm-hmm.
I do parties, baby showers,
Hmm.
the other thing. I haven't done most of weddings and funerals.
Mm-hmm.
I've only done one funeral, but yeah, but
Okay.
yeah, I'm everywhere.
All right. And an Ebonite that is interested in being taken back home and wants to hire your services. How do they get
Mhm.
contact? How do they contact you?
So they can contact me on my WhatsApp.
Mm-hmm.
My number is 078 019 7028, or they can DM me on edamame.catering on Instagram and Facebook.
All right. Thank you so much
Yes.
for joining us. Any last words from yourself?
The last thing that I would say is
Mm.
uh uh just go out there, be great, believe in yourself. Just man, a ke re rataneng bathong. That's all
Mm.
I'll say. And
Mm.
yes, keep on keeping at what you're doing and never give up on yourself. Yeah.
Thank you so much for that. That was ausbundle, and I think that should also be directed at a young girl. I think that's what you would
Yes.
tell a young girl who would ask you, ausbundle, how did you do this?
Mm. So funny enough, I have a lot of uh ngizothini, youngins or abantwana.
Mm.
I think in my past life I was a teacher, I think.
Okay.
I think because I love teaching.
Hmm.
I love it when people are curious. I love it when people want to know more.
Mm.
So a lot. So I take a lot of the young girls who are up and coming, and I teach them. So when I have a function, then they would be part of my kitchen staff.
Hmm.
And then I go with them through each and everything. And we build up the menu, teach them how to build it up, how to,
Wow.
then by the time they can also learn to say, I don't need to work for anybody else, I can actually do this for myself, then they've got all the right tools to start their own business instead. Because a lot of girls are scared to do it, thinking that they are unable to do it. But if you have someone who will hold your hand and show you the little bits, then that confidence will build up and a person will therefore do it themselves, you know?
Wow. Having been
Yeah.
having been having been a teacher in your past life, I think you must open a culinary academy because that's exactly what you're
Right.
doing.
That's another thing. Wabona that restaurant.
Uh-huh.
I think because I've always, and I read and I wrote it down in my long term
Goals.
vision board, that the restaurant that I want to open, I want to have cooking classes in it. I want to have sort of like a farm to table thing. Also where there's a bakery in the same space, where like Abu Mama who would love to know how to bake bread and all these
Mm.
things, then people are there, and whatever that is left, then you just have a soup kitchen. So the people who
Yeah.
are homeless and people who are in need will then come and line up, and you just feed them what wasn't sold for the day, and you just share what you have with the people, because at the end of it all, as abantu, we all believe in umuntu ngumuntu ngabantu,
True.
right?
Yes. Yes.
So from mine to yours, that's what I believe in. And that is why I'm like, in the long run, can I have a place, a safe space like that, where people are transported home, be eating a good 2 slices of bread and coffee, that's enough. As long as you are full, then I'm happy.
Wow.
Yeah.
Angiqeda ukukhuluma. Thank you so
Yeah, I
much.
born.
Thank you so much for
But
joining
thank
us.
you, thank you so much, Duke. I really appreciate it.
You're welcome, Oswald. Please just repeat your number for a listener who didn't get it.
My number is 078 019 7028.
That's it, fam. That's for the WhatsApp. If you'd like to book her, and the academy and the restaurant are coming. In Jesus' name, we
Yes.
pray.
Amen. I receive that.
Thank you so much for joining us, Oswuntle. That was Bontle
Thank you.
Kombi, the chef and the caterer. She owns a business, catering business, and please do call her if you need her services. Thank you so much for joining us. We'll be back right
Thank
after
you.
this.